what we're going to want to do is, again, we need to remember a couple things. Now, first of all, we need to understand how does sine and cosine and tangent relate to each other. All right. And actually, did we even go through? Well, all right. That could have made. One thing when dealing with sine and cosine, I actually didn't spend too much work with this, so I can see where you guys are at. If you guys look back, tangent of theta is the same thing as, or actually, let's go through this. If you guys remember when we were talking about, if we were talking about coordinate points, right? Remember the sine of theta represented the y coordinate on the unit circle, right? The cosine of theta represented the x coordinate when we have an angle that produced a point on the unit circle, right? Do you remember that? And then tangent of theta equaled the y over the x, right? Well, guys, if I just put what is y, what is also equal to y and x? So you could also just say the sine of theta is the same thing as the sine of theta over the cosine of theta. So tangent is equal to the sine of theta over the cosine of theta. See that? Right? Because tangent is y over x. Well, what is y equal to? Y is equal to the sine of theta. What is x equal to? X is also equal to the cosine of theta, right? Per what we learned up there. So therefore, I can actually say that the tangent of theta is equal to sine of theta over cosine of theta. Now, so if I want to find the tangent of 60, do I know what? Then I need to do is just say, well, then that's the same thing as the sine of 60 over the cosine of 60. Well, the sine of 60 is square root of 3 over 2 over 1/2. Then the 2's divide out, and I'm left with the square root of 3. And that would be your final answer. For number C, all right, I know I spent the whole time going over cofunction identities with you guys. So Charlie, you need to make sure you understand that cosine of 30 degrees is the same thing as the sine of 90 degrees minus 30. Right? Do you remember the cofunction identities? The cosine of theta is equal to the sine of 90 minus theta. You guys wrote them down in your notes. The sine of theta is equal to the cosine of 90 minus theta. They're in your notes, the cofunction identities. So therefore, cosine of 30 is equal to the sine of 60. So do we know what the sine of 60 is? Yeah, square root of 3 over 2. OK? Then we have to do the sine of 30 degrees. Again, the sine of 30 degrees is equal to the cosine of 90 minus 30. So that's equal to the cosine of 60 degrees. Do we know what the cosine of 60 degrees is? Yeah, it's 1/2. OK? And the last one, we have cotangent of 60 degrees. Well, guys, if tangent is sine over cosine, cotangent is going to be cosine of 60 degrees over sine of 60 degrees. OK? So cosine of 60 degrees is 1/2 over square root of 3 over 2. Now this one you can't, well, you can just say the 2's will divide out. So you're left with 1 over the square root of 3. Then I rationalize the denominator, and I get the square root of 3 over 3. And that's your final answer. OK?